Welcome to Wine and Dine Radio. I'm Lynn Creelo-Chamberlain.
Hi there, this is Andreas Larsson.
Hi, this is John Capon.
My name is Madhur Jaffrey.
Hi, my name is Heike Platter. I'm from the Alto Adige region, or Südtirol.
Hi, my name is Paul Dolan. I am absolutely passionate about growing organic and biodynamic fruit for our wines.
Hello, my name is Lorena Garcia.
Hello, my name is Fritz Maytag.
This is Joyce Locke. I'm the author of Foodie Fight.
Hi, this is Lydia Mandave, founder of 29 Cosmetics.
Cheers, this is Rob Barnett, CEO and founder of ThinVillage.com, where wine lovers connect.
Today on Wine and Dine, we're going to meet Anupy Singla, who is the author of Vegan Indian Cooking, 140 Simple and Healthy Vegan Recipes. But let's also throw out there that if you are a non-vegan, this will be a joy to work from in your kitchen as well. And Anupy has put together some ideas that she's going to introduce to us today that are not necessarily in the book, but you can take beverage ideas and maybe add some wine or some spirit to it to spice up your meal. If you're listening to Wine and Dine, I would imagine that would be of interest to you. Anupy, thank you so very much for joining us today on Wine and Dine. And as I understand, you are a veteran journalist. Your former book is The Indian Slow Cooker, and you do a lot of on-air cooking demonstrations.
I do. My background is television journalism, and I was a print reporter for a long time, and so segueing into TV on camera is the easy part for me, and the writing, it comes easy, and the fun part of it is teaching folks how to love and appreciate Indian food.
It seems like Indian food in the United States has, especially in the last, let's say, I don't know, 5 years or something, it really is not just gaining an acceptance, but becoming popular. I mean, in the international section of Harris Teeter near where I live, they have all sorts of, and in the frozen prepared, all sorts of Indian dishes.
It has grown, and I'd like to always take folks back to where I started from in terms of coming to America when I was 3 years old back in the 70s. Outside of Philadelphia is where I was raised, pretty much a predominantly blue-collar sort of community where Indian food was not the rage. And so it was almost, for me, growing up, an embarrassment. And so for a long time, I tried to hide the fact that we ate Indian food. And to me, it's just beautiful to see that people are trying to accept spices, understand that spices add not just flavor, but also come at it from the health component and how wonderfully nutritious spices can be. Yeah. So it's a joy for me to see all these things being more and more accepted everywhere.
It seems to me that spices is actually the bedrock of Indian cooking, and that there is so much variety and diversity, and therein lies the complexity.
It is, and when I say complexity, when you do, I always try to tell folks it's really not complicated. So complexity in terms of the deepness of taste and flavor, and that's why for Indian food, we don't need to add meat because we can make vegetables absolutely shine on our plate with those layers of spices. And I always tell folks there's really 7 essential key Indian spices that you need, and you don't need the hundreds of others that are available until you're ready for them. So start with the 7 key essential spices, add that to your dishes. Even if you're doing a quick stir-fry of, say, potatoes and cauliflower, you can add some cumin seed to the oil. You can add some ginger, garlic, some onion, some garam masala, once you know what that is, some coriander powder, and you've got an Indian meal. So it's really not that complicated.
Whoa. Okay, what do you say to people who say, I really don't want to take the time to be roasting my own seed or grinding it myself? They want it to be, they want to buy a little McCormick Ranch bottle that they can just shake over the stir fry.
I think that's great. I think there's a day when you have that kind of day, which are days that I have too as a mom of 2 girls that are aged 9 and 7. There's days when, you've got a little more time and you want to be more creative. So there's no one given day that's your everyday norm. So I don't say that I'm giving you all the answers for every day. I'm giving you options for different days.
Okay.
If you prefer to use curry powder from a jar that you buy from the supermarket and you like it, that's terrific. But I do want people to learn the fact that curry powder is not used in Indian cooking traditionally. We know how to take basic spices, put them together, and create an amazing curried base or stew. But most folks come to me and say, frankly, I don't like Indian food because I don't like curry powder. And I say, that's terrific because we don't use curry powder. That's a Western derivation of what folks think Indian food should taste like.
Okay.
But if that's your go-to and you like curry powder, add it in by all means. But know what's inside the box. I was trained as a Bloomberg journalist, a financial journalist. Know what's inside the box, and you can always work outside the box.
Oh, gosh, that's a good quote.
Thank you.
I mean, that totally applies to cooking also. Once you learn, as you say, inside the box or all the basics or the quote-unquote rules, then you could just look in the refrigerator and cupboard, see what you have, and put something together.
Absolutely, and that's what folks want. That's what I try to teach in all my demos is technique, not so much here's a recipe and learn it, like a route sort of process and memorize it. I'm saying here's a basic type of North Indian stir fry, and if you want to make it South Indian, swap this ingredient out or that one. And don't just use it with the cauliflower and potatoes. Use it with eggplant one day, maybe okra another day, whatever you find at the farmer's market. So start learning technique, and cooking won't seem as challenging to you.
Is there certain dishes that go better with certain times of the year, like cold weather, warm weather?
Well, there are certainly different types of foods that we eat and are more available in the market, in the Indian markets at different parts of the year.
Okay.
You're going to find that just like in Western countries, the squashes and the pumpkins are more available in the fall and the winter.
Okay, yeah.
And those are things that you're going to use. There's also a whole history, and I'm not an expert by any means in this, but Ayurvedic of food.
Yes.
You have certain foods that are hot foods that when you eat them, they bring out the heat in your body. There are certain spices and foods that are cooler. So you want to know how to combine those sorts of things, but you don't have to learn the science behind everything. If you have a few markers, like knowing that a garam masala, which is just a combination of 4, 5, 6, 7 spices that are roasted and then ground together, and you can also buy it just from the jar in the supermarket, but you know that that's more of a warm spice. So when you're eating that, you want to mix it and combine it with something that's a little cooler, like a coriander powder. So you've kind of balanced it. So mango season would come upon us, and I'd go to India and eat 20, 30 mangoes, and all of a sudden my skin would be breaking out, and my aunt would say, Anupy, that was the wrong thing to do because that's kind of a food that's kind of hot for your body. It'll make your skin break out. So they just know these different sorts of foods that lead to different sorts of, development or lead to different health aspects. And so it's great because when you go to someone who understands food in that way and understands ingredients that way, they know how to combine ingredients to get the best maximum effect out of them.
This week, and I don't know I think it was yesterday, I remember seeing a promo that Dr. Oz, that Dr. Oz, he has a show on television, was actually going to be featuring Ayurvedic medicine, and I thought, oh my gosh, if he's doing it, it's going to become more mainstream. But I remember 25 years ago, I had some real health problems, and I was going to an Ayurvedic consultant, and it just made so much sense what he was teaching me.
That's right, and for me, this whole journey to write a book about vegan cooking, and especially Indian cooking, came and started about 15 years ago when I was not feeling well. I was a graduate student in Hawaii at the time, and probably the wrong place not to feel well. And I had a naturopath talk to me and say, I know you don't eat too much meat anyway, but let's pull out all the dairy, let's pull out all the cheese, let's pull out any meat.
Yeah.
And I felt fantastic. So I never say that you have to go that route.
Yeah.
I just say understand what the meats and the dairies and all of that do to your body.
Right.
Once you know the effect, you know that you probably have to limit the amount that you have of that on your plate versus making it the 70% of your plate. That's all it is. It's rebalancing ourselves in our day-to-day and in our meals.
Okay, talk to us with this idea, which sounds just heavenly, of, I mean, who does not like a mango lassi? But talk to us about how you would spice that up with, and I love your idea of vanilla vodka.
Yes. The lassi, let's start with that first because many don't really know what a lassi is. It's just basically a yogurt drink, and traditionally in India, especially North India, we would take the yogurt, which is kind of tart, it's a homemade yogurt, and we would mix it with savory, not sweet, spices. So some black salt, which is a very unique spice, unique to India, and some regular white salt, some black pepper. But now in the States, it's become really popular to make mango lassis, so they've sweetened it.
Yeah.
So you can actually take either mango ice cream or some puree of mango or fresh mango. I've done it with that as well that I've frozen just to give it a little bit more uplift, in terms of your lassi. So take some frozen mango, throw that in with some yogurt. If you want to veganize it, you can use soy yogurt, which I've done successfully. Put a little bit of milk or soy milk in there, or almond milk or coconut milk, and mix it together with that vodka, the vanilla vodka or saffron vodka, and you've got an amazing little lassi that's been perked up with a few spirits. It's delicious.
Man, with all the artisanal mixologists out there, I would imagine somebody's probably experimenting with that direction anyway, and certainly the high-end Indian restaurants, I bet, offer that.
Absolutely.
Well, Anupy Singla, I thank you so very much for joining us today on Wine and Dine. Her vegan Indian cooking, 140 simple and healthy vegan recipes, will be released on July 6th.